The psalmist Michael once said, Billie Jean is not my level. She's just a girl who thinks that I am the one. But the kid is not my level. Why would she think that, Michael? Why did she think that? Let's investigate. So, Danielle, I have a question for you.
Questions. Yes, ask away.
Do you think that men and women can be friends?
I'm gonna say yes, but, okay? With a capital B, not the lowercase b.
Okay.
There definitely is a process and a safety zone you kind of got to keep yourself in if you want this person to be your friend. And if not, then there's still a process if you want them to be more than just a friend.
I am going to say ditto. I definitely think that this can happen, but there has to be some communication. There has to be, people have to be on the same page. I can't be on chapter 4 and you're on chapter 8. We have to be on the same page.
True that.
All right.
Because then you're going to spoil chapter 8 and
Right.
I'm going to be like, but I wanted to read that. So, you know when you're in church and the pastor's preaching, you really get the story when he compares the scripture to something that happened.
Analogies,
so to break
yes,
this down, we're going to compare it to driving a vehicle. When you start learning to drive a car, there's a lot of things you need to keep in mind. One, be aware of your surroundings, because it's not just you, it's a whole bunch of people driving. And two, you have to drive the speed limits, because who has money to be paying for tickets? So,
And also not driving at that right speed can cause an accident. Nobody wants to die.
right, no one. So, awareness and the speed limit. And I like to think of it as this way. Let's say you live in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is what?
The city of brotherly love.
Brotherly love. All right. So you and a male are friends. You're in Philadelphia, brotherly love. But you may want to stay in Philadelphia and hang out, eat the Philly cheesesteaks. Or
Good.
you could want to go to Paris. Paris.
Romance.
City of love.
City of love.
And you have to figure out, how do I drive so that I can safely stay in Philadelphia and make sure I don't randomly end up on a plane going to Europe? Or how do I safely get to Paris? You know, both of these things require caution. Number one thing we said in the beginning, aware of your surroundings and how quickly you drive in the car.
So self-awareness would be being aware of your situation and where you're driving the car. And then for driving the speed limit, I like to consider that self-control. You know, having some resistance, even though it's tempting to accelerate your car. Should we be doing that right now? If we're in a 25, why are we going 35? Let's just keep in our 25 zone.
That's a good question.
Right? So now let's say we're trying to be in Philadelphia, Danny. Right? I have decided that this young man and I should just be friends, right? That brotherly love, like, you know, he's my bro. Now, if he was really my bro, I think about, what does that relationship look like? What don't I do with my brother? Like, first of all, like, that is my brother, my biological brother is the epitome of someone that I would never cross a line with. There will be, no matter how much somebody wants to hold a gun to my head, I will never do anything inappropriate with my brother. Primarily because that's disgusting, and secondly,
It's illegal.
it's also illegal. So let's think about it that way. So if this was my brother, David, what up? Hi, David. What are some things I will never do? There's some verbal and non-verbal. Verbally, I'm not texting David at 10 p.m. at night or at 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm not saying,
Just
hey,
to ask him, what are you doing? The man is in his room.
Why do I need to know these things? Like, I love my brother, and my best wishes for him is that he's safe and that he's okay. But I'm not, you know, daily communicating with him just to see if everything's okay and how he's doing, or if he needs to talk about what. If he does need to talk, he's probably gonna hit me up and let me know he needs to talk.
Facts.
So
only daily communication he's having with Jesus Christ.
Right. I don't need to be talking to you all day, every day. That's unnecessary for a brotherly relationship. Next, I also think, that's just not via text, but also via phone. I should not be, calling him, jonesing, and, it's not saying that you can't contact your brethren. It's always good, but it has to be purposeful conversation or purposeful communication. So if the conversation is about, some plans or something that you guys were discussing and you need to elaborate on, stick to that. Getting outside of the boundaries or the confines of that conversation can lead to premature familiarity. It's not okay. It's okay to have a relationship with a male, but when it's consistent conversation, and when the conversation gets pretty intimate, that's considered an intimate relationship, and then you're going to be developing an intimate relationship with somebody that you quote unquote say you want to keep as a brother. Right.
Speed limit. So the next thing that you have or would not do with your biological brother is calling them random pet names. Hey babe.
Hey
hi
boo. How you doing?
How you doing?
Why? What is that? Like, think about your brother and think about if this makes sense. Why would you call him those words? Why would you name him those names?
Right. You wouldn't.
You wouldn't. So let's keep that in mind with the men that we're thinking about as friends.
Philadelphia.
We're still in Philadelphia, that brotherly love. Okay. Other things that I also would never do with my brother is like pet him and just like lay my head on his shoulder, nuzzle up, cuddle, hang out with him in his car for a prolonged amount of time. Like, why? There's no need, because he's my brother.
And that would be very strange, guys. For some reason, when translated into a non-biological but still brother situation, it kind of, you don't think of it that way. But if you did, you wouldn't be touching on it.
You probably wouldn't. You're probably
right. That's common sense.
And then I also want to talk to some of our ladies who say, hey, well, I have, self-control. It's the men. I'm being very kind and cordial, and they're just thinking too much of it. Okay, but really think about and be introspective about like what your kind and cordial looks like. If your kind and cordial looks like this, if your kind of cordial looks like this, if your kind of cordial looks like texting him every day, back and forth, like he's your man, giving him man privileges when he's not your man yet, then there needs to be a redefinition of your kind and cordial. There's also a biblical verse, and I am so mad I don't have it right now, but it talks about being a stumbling block. So even if you yourself thinks that you can reserve and you can control yourself, there's some men that don't have that self-control. So a tap or a touch may elicit or convey something different for them. They might feel, a different level of attraction for you just for something that you think is super simple. So don't be a stumbling block for them. If you become that, you're going to be responsible for some of the pitfalls they may have in their walks with Christ. So let's be responsible and be accountable for ourselves and also the relationships that we have with our brethren. I think that'll be helpful. Definitely.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It goes back to just being aware of yourself when you're driving and your surroundings, because an accident can be caused by two people. I could be driving safely and you're not. You could be driving safely. I'm not. Crash. So it's definitely important to not just consider like, well, this is safe for me. Like, am I also making sure I'm being safe for everyone around me?
Absolutely.
So like some of our top ways to keep yourself in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And then if you feel like, I feel like a highway's coming on, maybe it's time to like accelerate this vehicle. Signal.
Oh. Okay.
Until you signal, there's no need for you to be turning, because that's exactly how accidents happen. So in the safety that we've created while driving, of having that awareness and driving at that speed limit, if we do then decide that we want to speed up, we want to go left, we want to go to Paris, there needs to be a clear signal. And that in a relationship looks like someone saying, I'd like to enter into a relationship with you. The key signal here is relationship. If they never say relationship, then you're never going to be in a relationship with them because they've never communicated that.
Yeah.
Until you see the light blinking, make sure your blinker's working, people. Because until that relationship keyword signal has been indicated, I'm going to be at the crossroads, like left, right, where are we going? Are we speeding up? Are we slowing? Accident. So this is exactly what we're trying to avoid. And yeah, it needs to be clear. Like the ambiguous, like, yeah, maybe we can make it right. I don't know, maybe left is nice, straight is cool.
Or how about we just keep going in circles and like pretending that, you know, we're making some progress. Like,
right. This is when you pull the car over and exit.
Don't even get in that car. Like, leave.
Right.
Run.
Where are we going?
Ladies, I can't emphasize enough. Like, I love myself and I love y'all enough to tell you that it's okay to say I'm okay. It's okay to say I'll actually go home. It's okay to go back home.
Uber?
Right. It's okay because you do not have to put yourself in a situation that you are with someone that is unclear. You know, whether or not you have a belief in Christ or you're an unbeliever believer, all women, we need somebody who's in the front seat as a leader, who knows where they're going, who has clear direction, is also able to communicate that to them. If he's unable to say that to your face or say that out loud, then he probably is still trying to figure it out inside. And that's okay if he wants to determine that and think about that mentally. He just needs to do that on his own time. And then when he figures things out, come back to you.
Right.
Don't have me in the car, staring me all kinds of directions, not sure where you're going.
You could get motion sickness. You could die. Okay. There's just too many things that could go wrong.
Yes. Listen, jump out that car, pull over, call yourself.
Pull over. Thank you. It's been a nice ride. I'm going to, take the bus, the bike, any other form of clear transportation home.
Right. Don't think that, one day he passed me and he said, "Good morning, sister," as that's not necessarily him saying, "I would like us to develop a relationship." So make sure you're hearing what he's saying, not what you think he's saying.
The second thing, for you to go to Philadelphia to Paris, again, somebody needs to invite you to Paris. I would not just up and start packing my bags to go somewhere that I had no idea where I was staying. Where are we going?
Yeah, like,
who invited you? Why are you at my house? Like, you need to get an invitation before up and leaving to a new destination. Like,
goes back to that signal. Did he say he wants more than a friendship?
Did he say we're going to Paris?
Well, okay.
Once that's clarified, we're ready to accelerate this vehicle. Again, staying on the limit, but we're ready to move this vehicle into another direction.
One thing to also be mindful of is, consistency with that. Everybody knows that popular proverb and phrase of actions speak louder than words. And I just kind of want everybody, to apply that to relationships. So if you're coming from being a friend with someone or from going from complete strangers to now going into something that's a little bit more romantic based, there also needs to be consistency in that. So that gentleman has to make and you also have to make sure that your actions and your words are lining up. So if he's saying, let's just be friends, but he wants to make out randomly or do things that are not friend-like, but keeps telling you that he wants to be friends, that's also a signal as well, a warning sign on the road hazard. This man doesn't know what he wants. Okay?
Yes.
He doesn't know what he wants. And we do not need to be played around like we're toys. I don't know about y'all, but I'm a full-grown human being who has one heart. I don't have a spear. So I need you to take care of that and manage it properly.
Because it's not only your heart at risk, but it's the other person's. So safety is click it or ticket. Also, just paying attention to those signs. Hazard. Are there inconsistencies in our communication? Are you looking shifty, like there's someone else I don't know about, or something else I don't know about?
Are you distracted? Why are you looking at rear view? What's behind us, huh?
Right.
Are we going this way?
Why are you constantly looking this?
Yeah.
The biggest mirror is the one we look at, and that's the forward one.
Thank you.
So those are things to be aware of. Checking those signals. Is the light red? Should I pause here? Do I need to think about where I'm going? Pull over. It's always better to pull over.
Right.
Figure out where you're directing the car than to just keep driving around aimlessly.
Yes. And yeah, like Daniel said, pulling over is also a key. You and God control you, okay? Not so-and-so or whomever you're courting or interested in. You have all the power to say, I'm not ready, I'd rather stop, I need to reconsider, I need to rethink these things, I need to think on these things. Maybe you didn't think about them at all, now you want to think about them. That's totally fine. Give yourself time. It's always better to take a step back than to take a step forward in the wrong direction. So give yourself that grace. You know, we don't always know everything about the person that we're considering or courting. And if there's something that comes up that's alarming or disconcerting for you, feel okay with saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to take a break. And if your break turns into a permanent, like this is not going to happen, that's okay too. Because if it's not making sense for you, don't try to make it make sense. If it doesn't make sense, it probably is not going to ever make sense. Follow your gut, follow God's lead. Pray on it, do what you need to do to make sure that you're comfortable in the situations that you're pursuing.
Next thing you're gonna need if you go to Paris is your itinerary. What are we doing in Paris? What do you want to do in Paris? What do I want to do in Paris? Are we trying to do similar things in Paris?
Right.
Or are you trying to go whitewater rafting and skydiving? And I'm more of a land type of person, the ground gravity.
Right.
If you and your partner's list of like needs and desires is not really looking the same, like I'm trying to go left, you're trying to go right, it's gonna be very hard to steer this one vehicle into opposing directions. Do I want to have kids? Do you want to have kids? Or do I want to live in New York and you want to live in California? Just checking to see that the values are right. These things that are very important to you, your values, your core foundations, Christ needs to be at the center of it all. Okay? So if that is not in line, good day. I said good day. Like, we just can't get on the same plane. Right. I could still be your friend. We could stay in Philadelphia, but when I go to Paris, you know, I'm not gonna take you with me. No shade. I love you. In Philadelphia.
And you know, I love that. I love that analogy because it's also making sure, like, we don't want you to think that, oh, he has to be your twin. Like, he doesn't, or she, whomever, men, woman, whatever. They don't have to be your twin, but they have to complement you. So, you know, make sure that you're not pursuing someone or you're not engaging with someone that has completely conflicting views and ideas or values that do not agree with yours. Because, you know, if you don't agree now, trust and believe you're not going to agree down the road. And who got time to waste? I know I sure don't. Who has a heart to waste? Like I said, I only got one earlier.
True.
I got time for this.
And a great way to check is with the police. The police will let you know.
Hey, thank you,
if you're doing something wrong. Who is that? Those are your friends. What about you? What about you? Your friends, your family, your pastor, people who know who you are, know what you want, know how you act in different situations. Friends are the popo.
Yes.
And they gonna let you know if it's safe to go
right
to Paris. Oh,
when they see what they see, and the beautiful thing about the popo is that they see what's happening on the outside. Sometimes we're so focused on the person that's sitting next to us in that vehicle, but we don't even see what's going on, and they're not. You know, the cops are there technically to ensure our safety and to give us heads up if something's about to happen. So make sure that you have a healthy relationship with your friends. I don't know who your friends are, but make sure you have some good ride or dies that are, you know, by your side and can give you some helpful tips and guidance and whose advice you can trust. And when they do tell you, girl, run, not that doesn't mean run back to him. That might mean run, you know,
and they're not jealous of you.
It doesn't mean jealousy either. That means they
check them correctly in the beginning. Like, make sure you have good friends. You got good cops, you got bad cops. Make sure you're with the good cops so that you know that when they're saying something to you, it's out of a place of love and care and for your best interests at heart. Let them know before entering, like, girl, I'm about to go to Paris. Let me know what you think about my itinerary. Does this look crazy to you? Does this look crazy? Because it's very hard to tell when you're consumed in the situation.
Right. And by the time you get to Paris, it's probably gonna be a little too late.
It's too late to apologize.
Right.
You only have one life and one heart, and
Come
that
on, I don't got no spares.
Right. You need to guard that. You need to protect that, and you need to have some forethought into that before even getting into the car.